Hello, hello, welcome back. We're here with Jacob, and we're going to continue on with the origin of syrup.
You are truly the most insufferable fellow I have ever had the misfortune to count among my acquaintances. Mr. Syndicate was right. Foul weather, don't know where to have you. Foul weather. Always been convinced that existing influences are responsible for the ordained curse of obedience. Let me remind you, sir, that you have accused me of resisting science, yet you are making my very ears bleed. You wound me, sir. Would you, Mr. Owen, for once in your miserable life, tell the truth and admit your guilt in this matter?
Here we go.
Before, sir, I had nothing to do with that anonymous article. Nothing, I say. That is a lie, sir. And you know it. Bah, I don't have time for this nonsense. Nonsense? It is my name and reputation you have willfully besmirched, sir. My very name. Bah! Drive, damn you, drive! That is Richard Owen, a vile, despicable wretch of a man.
Really? I could have sworn you were close friends.
Mr. Owen works at the asylum. He will know who made the syrup. Get him! Get him! Coming through!
None at all?
If you're trying to intimidate me, ruffian, you're wasting your time.
I've always wondered how much of a beating this type of vehicle could take. Questions for you, sir.
Whatever it is, Darwin, I will not give in. Here I come! Coming through!
What about Starrick's soothing syrup?
Soothing syrup? Why would a scientist have any interest in panacea?
I wager your life, Mr. Owen, that you know something.
No, I'm telling you, I do not know a thing. I swear. Nor have I involved, nor have I ever been involved with
created the elixir. He's the man you want, not me. I beg you, good sir, stop this madness.
Now, was that so hard?
Yes.
Maybe you'll settle down when I'll rip.
Just gotta go to the options here. Oops, wrong one. Oops. Well, I think get rid of that L1. Some leather and silk. And take a look at some of this stuff here. Progression log. Templar conspiracy. We got a new one here. John Elliotson. That must have been the guy in the carriage, I think. Date of birth 29 October 1791. The son of a chemist and apothecary, John Elliotson attended Jesus College at Cambridge, which might explain his panic as a prophet. Unfortunately, he chose mesmerism to preach. Forget the Virgin Mary. He converted around with mesmerized twin sisters who he believed could see diseases inside others. They sound fun. Suffice it to say, he was not long for respected medicine, which, might I add, at that time thought leeches were surgical instruments. One had to really try hard to be outside that box of horrors. Although he tried to weather the bumps with phrenology, Elliotson's practice declined until he was virtually penniless at which point Mr. Stark approached him with an offer he couldn't refuse. Well, John Elliotson, we got some crafting stuff to do. What's this? Reinforced gauntlet. Fear about substance. How much money right now? We got a database here. Other people. Richard Owen. Or maybe that was the guy. Richard Owen was the guy in the carriage. And he just gave me the name of that other guy that's controlling all this syrup. This guy, Richard Owen, was born on the 20th of July, 1804. Sir Richard Owen never learned natural history in school growing up, which may have been his first mistake in life. He studied to become a surgeon at the University of Edinburgh, found work at the Hunterian Museum cataloging plant and animal specimens, and was elected to the research arm of the Zoological Society of London in 1830. He was the youngest and most active member of the group, by which I mean he did lots of work. Not that he was a jogger. By the middle of the 19th century, scientists were theorizing about the presence of the divine in natural sciences. Owen threw his hat into the proverbial ring by publishing papers outlining his theory on the origin of Earth's species. In essence, Owen believed that the changes observed in animals occurred as a response to their environment, and that all species not only share a common archetypal ancestor, but that all species are progressing towards an idealized form, with humans already reaching their apex. From apes to apex, that'd make a nice title for my autobiography. Oh, and if that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, don't worry. Owen's contemporaries felt the same way. Owen developed a reputation for overreacting to criticism and responding in anger, crossing the line of acceptable behavior and discourse in the scientific community. This was evident more than ever in his scathing reviews of On the Origin of Species, published by Charles Darwin in 1858. Owen stood by his own theories even as his contemporaries came to embrace Darwin and natural selection. Feeling alienated from his peers in the field of biology, Owen focused his efforts on, among other things, establishing the Natural History Museum, which he did in 1881. He was knighted 3 years later and promptly retired, which is what I will do when finally the old bird knights me. By the time Owen passed away in 1892, he was remembered for little more than his opposition to Darwinism and his misplaced ego. But therefore, you go knocking him, keep in mind Richard Owen coined the word dinosaur. Let's see you top that. Well.
Jim, bloody bastard, come here!
Take your old shit elsewhere. What's this all about?
We're gonna leave you here at the George Pub. Have a good one. See you later.